honored to introduce you today to my good friend Alejandro Sommer. I have looked up to the work that he's been doing in Dark Skies ever since I met him, like pretty much when I started at IDA about 5 years ago. And since then, I've really watched him grow and take the dark sky movement to a whole new level in the state of Misiones, in Argentina, and around the world as well. So I will read his bio. Alejandro Sommer is a passionate individual dedicated to the promotion and development of tourist offerings with a specific focus on ecotourism in the province of Misiones. Alongside his studies at university, Alejandro serves as the Secretary of Ecotourism and an advisor to the Mbia Turismo Asociación, an organization representing the Guarani original communities. He is an accomplished astrotourism service provider, recognized as an IAU Dark Skies ambassador and Galileo teacher for his commitment to accessible astronomy education. Alejandro believes that astrotourism extends beyond the realm of astronomical sciences, emphasizing the importance of valuing the night itself and creating immersive experiences that evoke powerful emotions for visitors. He advocates for adapting tourism activities to the environment rather than altering the environment to accommodate tourism, presenting a unique challenge in catering to both general and targeted audiences. And Alejandro is also the leader of our new chapter in Argentina. So we also have a chapter that has started in Argentina. We're really, really excited about that. And he is a great purveyor of mate. So I will turn it over to Alejandro.
Okay, welcome everybody, and thanks to being here. And it's an honor and a pleasure. And actually, it's a big challenge because I think that this is one of the few chances that we have to talk about some different approach of how can we spread the word from light pollution or conserve the darkness. So in this case, I will talk about a few experience, how do I do it, and how I think that is a best approach, but basically it's also a regular standards on what it means to be an international place, because if you read it at the website of DarkSky, actually the astrotourism is implied because people have to know how the places that conserve or promote the darkness. And with that, I will start my presentation. Give me 1 second. No. ¿Dónde estás? No, I don't see it. 1 second. What?
El botón verde.
Sí, sí, pero se me escapó, se me cerró la. Ahí está. Acá, that's it. Estaba bien. Bueno, aquí estamos. So vamos a hablar. We are going to talk about astrotourism. So, what is the importance, and why should we put it into practice? Because for the simple fact that people can protect what they didn't know, because it's not the same to speak about the conservation of stars or the Milky Way into the middle of the city, the cities, or in a closed room without access to the star. It's not the same to photo than take it to the field. That's why I consider that astrotourism is a very important part of what we do. And so let's talk about it and what does we mean with this, because it's not all the same things for everyone, and not everyone can do it, because as you know, many persons have different skills, and that's what we have to use in favor to our activity and how we promote it. Because you have here some examples of one of the materials that you can find at the resource onto the web of Dark Skies. And this is basically one of the books that they have it on storage. That is one example of the manual of Astrotourism that is created in 2015 by Chile. And you can have here some of the basic regular basics activities. And get notice, into the many cases, you will find a lot of science, and what we call it here or people who actually can work on tourism, you will know that what represents to a target selected. So one example is what we can find here and in this Zoom meeting. I cannot talk for Facebook, but what we see every month here in this Zoom, we all see few faces and always the same people. And when you try to speak to the world and you do some activities, it's more important to reach new people. And what do we find? So through a tourism activity, but you have to remember that you are entering to the tourist ground or environment, and it's not always scientific. You can start curiosos, but not people who study the stars. They only want to pick the universe, and perhaps that's it. And the best part is that you didn't know who you are going to find in some of your activities. And there is where the challenge comes, because you have to develop and think about your activities. And when you start to thinking about it and you start to create a design and experience, and the best part is when you pass through all that thinking time, and when you select what you are going to do, you have one targeted audience, is what I already said. But at that point, we have to, just for a little moment, forget about astronomy. You have to think where you're going to, or where you're going to do the activities, and how you can include the astronomy on that environment, because that is the best part that have the astrotourism. It can adapt to the place, to the place, and to the people who are working with or get the activity itself. And so at that point, you can imagine what do you want to do, and you have to, this is another important part of this, is you have to put some value, or you have to put in value the place when you are going to reach your activities. Sorry. Pardon. I'm going to drink a matter. And with this, because why? It's simply because in between, among other things, you can reach more people and expand your networks. Because I already said, you never know what people you can find between your audience. And if you are working, for example, into a protected area and you do an activity there, it's more likely or probably that you will find scientists or people who actually have true interest in what you do and get involved with. That's what's happened to me, and that's an easy way to expand your network, get more allies to the light pollution task if you want it. And that is a great example how do you can even get more ideas or more support for your future endeavors. So That before you have to start to think in other things, because you have to work with tourist companies, you have to work with protected areas, you have to start to work with insurance, have this is more than important. You have to plan your activities for at least the next 3 months, because you cannot have one stable audience if you are here on a Tuesday and you want to do some activity on Saturdays. Your public or your reach is not going to be so good if you have time to plan it, to promote, and have to spread the word about your activities. So a schedule is very important for these activities, and is it's not to be less important. You have to work with key stakeholders into the local area. Who is the people who actually represents something into the community? A local artist, perhaps someone who has a place of meal, oh, a place who represents the area, and how do you get involved? And so with that in mind, I will show one example of what we do here inside from one state park.
Buscar una felicidad. Posiblemente eso se lo encuentra en el final. Peyope, Pechaco, Pendiapo, Salto Encantado. Vengan y vean esto Astroturismo acá en el Salto Encantado.
I think that is a great example of what we can think from an idea, because if well the video is short, what we see on this video, we have a local gastronomy business. You are working with native communities. You talk about light pollution, and you see the local fauna at night, because you can see fingerprints of footprints from a cougar that just walking one day or two before. You can actually hear the birds at night, and you can find a lot of different things. But as you can say, you can spread the word about light pollution. You can actually make the people touch the star. Has anyone give to the laser pointer to someone of the audience and give it the chance to reach the star with their hands? Because that's what I encourage to do to you. You have to work with the emotions, and you have to create a memory that the people will always carry, because I guess many people see the stars at night, but it's only with you that actually they reach it. If you have, for example, a laser pointer, and you give it someone to the audience, and you can see, oh, see, you can see that there, but you when you work with the storytelling and how do you apply it, perhaps you can see the laser pointer here, or you can simply have the pointer laser on your hands and simply give it back, and that creates a funny moment, but more important, creates an emotion, and knowledge associated to one emotion stays on your mind forever, because many people can see the Milky Way, but it's with you that actually they having a funny time, and actually they reach it. So that it's our sky into a state park at night. And I said light pollution, because why? as you can see at the bottom, I can show it the sky glow, and I can actually see it. In this area, we have stars. In the city, not. And I have two good examples of what we are trying to reach, what we are trying to reach, and what we are trying to protect at the night, because it's easier when you show it than when you are explaining. So talking light pollution and show it the both phases of the time, you can see the darkness and you can see the sky glow and what all it implies, creates an impact. And this is what I said. This is one of the Warreni people that actually is a guide tourist, and if well, they can actually teach us about the conservation of darkness and what to implies to the heritage. We are working on tourism and some time ago, and now I just can simply sit him next to him and he will do all the talk and will show the constellations to the stars and what represents to the heritage and all that stuff. And of course, like I see in the comment, always we are careful with the lasers, but it's that part of the process, give it the element of perhaps surprise, perhaps, or I always I going to remark this to the motion of to the moment. You can see the stars, or you can use your imagination for so many stuff. For example, this is a popular constellation. I doesn't have to explain much, but it's Perseo. And when you talk to the people and start to develop all different strategies to the work, and how do you bring it to the area that when you are working. So I can show it this. It's the same constellation with an ant bear. He called it Stamandua. He actually have the same position into the sky. So you can draw some pictures what you see in nature, and you can see it into the sky. And that's what we are trying to do, to put some value of the heritage on these areas and work into the skies, what to represent in different times of the years, and how do you can explain so many stuff that actually helps to work on the conservation of darkness. Some different places that you can be. For example, this is the Santa Ana, La Cruz de Santa Ana, the crux of Santa Ana, Site 8. And this place is surrounded by so many lodges and persons who actually work for a couple's retreat, if you want. There's a husband and wife just went to get in contact with the nature and try to get some different activities. So what you can offer, you can how do you can think one idea, and what can you think when you have a selected area? You know what your audience going to be. So how can you imagine one activity for them? So this place has observations site. You can access to the top of the crowd, and you have restaurants. So okay, let's going to design a product, and we are going to call them night lovers. Night lovers. Don't worry, Betty Maya, I'm not going to get deep, but this you can design a product with the restaurant, and perhaps with the restaurant, perhaps a wine taste, a chocolate taste, and you can show it a story of the night who involves the couple's stories, or you can create a new one. And this place opens only the Saturdays at night. So you have one chance, 4 chance at month to show something different. This is what every basic day the people knows of this place. But with astrotourism, you can see this. This is a great example, and you can enjoy a romantic dinner with your significant one. And okay, what we do from there? How do we develop storytelling? So we have many resources onto the sky, and that's the big part. We have several cultures that we can help. Perhaps you are familiar with the Big Bang Theory, and this is one example of why we are going to try to reproduce on this speech. Just a moment. Hey.
Alejandro, I think you might have to click like share sound.
I will do it again. Give me a moment.
Yeah, do optimize for video and then do share sound too.
Okay, just give me a minute. I will stop sharing and we'll start over. Share sound. Ahí está. Vamos de vuelta.
So, you gonna see her again?
Yeah, we have plans this weekend. And if it's a clear night, I'm gonna lay some romantic astronomy on her.
Like what? Show me.
I can't do that to Leonard. This is some powerful panty-dropping stuff.
You have my blessing. Go for it.
Okay. Penny. Two of the brightest stars in the night sky are Altair and Vega. And it is said they were deeply in love, but forever separated by the celestial river of the Milky Way.
Oh, that's sad.
It is, but once a year, on the 7th day of the 7th month, Vega cries so hard that all the magpies in the world fly up and create a bridge with their wings, so the two lovers can be together for a single night of passion.
Wow.
Okay, that's enough.
Sorry for that, but it represents very well. It represents very well the posture or what your performance has to be in during some activities, because here you have not only the story, is how do you have, if you consider Raj, the person of Kumar, you have to change your posture, you have to practice your story to get the accent correct and set the mood for the moment. So you can have it here, what represents this story, but is and if you remember what Raj says, imagine all the data that you have on that simple line. You have the Milky Way, the positions. They are talking about the summertime for the people who are in the northern hemisphere. You have bird migration. You have talking about the brightening stars into the heaven. You are talking about the movement of the sky. You have so many astronomical data, but that's the best part of astrotourism. You can put all that info, but you change the way, how do you explain? And that's the great part. So you have here the representation of one friend of mine who have a mochileros astronómicos, who actually, when I talk to the star, he make the presentation, and this is what represents the day 7 of the 7th month, and you can, how do you say it? You can represent it, and that's what is, I think, is more important. That's more important because when you have that kind of targeted area, perhaps the telescope is taken into the second and almost an forgotten place into the activity. And actually, that's pretty cool because you are doing a great job. But with that is a promise that you have to fail a few times to improve and get better. And what you do? It's not easy, but it's not difficult. You only have to recreate some activities. And how do you can express? You can combine astronomy with almost anything. And this is one example. This is a trekking activity. When you're going to hike and you see the birds, you have photos of the nature. When it gets dark, you can start to you can be guided with the stars, how to reach your location, to know your latitude. And when we come back, we have a fireplace with some finger food dinner and chopped. You have a beer in a barrel, and you can speak. And I have the telescope. I have all in places, but this is what happens. We're sitting together, and we talk about the sky, and the telescope never use it. So we have a travesty during the night into the trekking path, and the telescope doesn't. It's only for the picture because the people get more involved into the story. And how do you can do you? This is the important part. Do you have the obligation to change the words? Is not to be not in a scientific way, and more for the regular basis people, because your tourists perhaps it's the first time they actually have any contact or information with with the skies, and you have to connect with them with small token, I would say. And for example, this is another iconic part of here in Misiones. This is what most people do. Yeah, we have great stars. Let's going to take them, and this is a famous tunnel. Is for the animals cross over, and the people do that kind of picture. But when you do it, you have the best. When I go there, I have to show it not only the star. It's what happens into the sky and on Earth, because you have fauna, you have bugs, you have beetles that actually oriented by the Milky Way with the moon. You can see a lot of different pictures, and I think that has more value to show the forest at night with the stars that only the tunnel. The place is the same. The sky is for everyone. It's depend on how do you show it and what value do you put on it, because you have to understand the place where you are doing the activity. Is not the same for any place, and that's the great. Because, for example, I have the Southern Cross here, and we can use it for orientate, and you can note because we doesn't have a north pole star, we have to imagine where is the South Pole, but we use it the Southern Cross. and we have to multiply it 4.5 times to reach the South Pole. And depending on to the position, you can know the month, and you can know the hour, and you can know about many things. But not only that, uh, um, not only that, also you can know different stories that came with that uh, cross on regular basics, and to the most of to the people from the southern hemisphere, at least in Australia and Latin America, is always associated with avestruz, ñandú. It's like an ostrich for you people, but it's it's a Latin American ostrich, as it call it ñandú, and this is always associated with the footsteps or with something like that, because the sack of coal, for example, is considered the nest of the ostrich, and so many different, and you can see it onto the star. But I will say, I will say to you, you have to use your emotions. Argentina. So we have the Dibu Martinez, last minute saving from France. And when you develop a storytelling, that's what we came out with a bunch of group during practicing and designing new experience. And how do you can associate different things that happens and some point after the culture, but this is something that happens to us a few months ago. So the motion is right onto the top of the skin, and when you say, yeah, you can see the fingerprint of the ñandú, or you can see the Dibu Martinez covering the goalkeeper from the last minute. That implies to the motion, and people, I think that the next time he will see the next Southern Cross, is more likely that remember to Dibu Martinez that what's the constellation's name, I think. Just give me a second. I have to. 1 second, please. Sorry, I have to attend something that happened to me. So you can apply to the emotions and what you can put it into the sky. And what we achieve with that. At some point, we work with the communities. We put in value different places that take advantage of the new activities. The hotels in place start to fill with more people. It's not only astrotourism activities there. There is night bird watching. They are people who are working with bugs in some places. And with that, we achieve the state law that, as the announcement of the government said, preservation of dark sky and promote astrotourism, because we did something different, because we not only benefit the activity of astronomy or astrotourism, because we work actually with the community itself. We put in value so many actors on different areas, and we are opening new borders that at some point you will never figure out that actually you will be there doing some activities. And that's, I think, the best part. You never know what your reach can be if you try different approach. And that's what I always will tell you. Try different things. Not only speak to the scientific way to do some more some basic astronomy, because it's not the same to do an astronomy encounter that try to reach different peoples in a different ways, that it's a challenge. You have to leave your comfort zone and try to do a new different stuff. So with that in mind, how big will you dream if you knew that you wouldn't fail? Because you have to take one step at a time and go into the direction that you want to go. And I will encourage to do something like this, because that's the idea. So, and with that, I think that I have the basic presentations to know, and I will encourage again to practice and do it more different areas. And for, I think that if we have questions or you want to try a different approach, I have my computer. Let's going to talk about it. Let's going to discuss different approach. Oh, hi, Marcelo.
Thank you, Alejandro. That was great. And again, a huge congratulations on the law in Misiones. I think that's really a good example of how, I think you started with astrotourism and showing people the stars and showing how important and awesome they are. And then from there, people understood and were able to take solid actions to put policies in place that really work to prevent and reduce light pollution. So congratulations and thank you for everything that you are doing. I'll put myself on the spotlight with you here. Yeah, hi Marcelo, hi Fernando. It was so cool to see you both down in South America. And I can't wait to go back. We did have some questions.
Okay.
I want to start with this one. Well, it's more of a comment from Tim, but after being under the stars with you, I want to hear your perspective. So Tim says, on thinking beyond astronomy, I know y'all will guffaw, but I like to talk about astrology for some groups. Remember that humans for all of history have respected auspicious days related to the stars. So how do you feel about astrology in astrotourism?
You can take it. Actually, you can do it, but it's not, let's going to be honest, astronomy and astrology is not well taken, but it depends with the people that you have to understand to the audience. You can do it. Actually, my partner, Natalia, works with astrology, is an astrologist, and he do some activities. But if you are amateur astronomer or an astronomer, that's something that can happen to you, that perhaps not an astrologer believer, but someone that actually, oh, I'm a Virgo, where's my constellation? The first thing that's happened is, if I see it, that some astronomers doesn't take it well, but you have to take the chance and remember that you are working with tourism. You have to embrace that activity and show it. It's not the time of into the year. You can explain the mechanical movement, and you can talk about the zodiac line and why do we call it zodiac line. I will put some of you there, and I will explain how it works, and I will politely not getting involved in that part, but you can do it if you are you can working with some people, but you have to in this area you have to take how do you put it, pick one side or the other. You cannot do both, because you are going to have some how do you say, respuesta, vas a tener
Argument. I think so. I think the opposite. I feel like I love astronomy, but I think astrology has a lot of wisdom behind it and a lot of years of thought and cultural importance. So I say go astrology, go astronomy. I don't think they have to fight with one another. I think
No,
they
no.
need to be described as such and as different. But so our next question is I'm gonna mute you, Andreas. It sounds like you brought your baby to watch. I hope we're indoctrinating them young. Diana in Serbia, hi Diana, says the video that you played, that video of your like dinner under the stars with the people, is that available on YouTube or something so that people can find
Yes,
it and use it as an example?
yes. If you give me a moment, I will share with you. I actually have it, or you can reply with the mail back. I have reading some questions here that I think you won't be able some materials that I am reading onto the chat.
If
But
you wanna just email it to me, we can send it out with the recording.
I can send it out with because I'm reading the chat and they are asking for stories and some materials. So I compromise myself to put all that info and share with a drive because it's a lot of info.
Yeah, we'll share it when we send out the recordings
Mhm.
tomorrow. So okay, Peggy Day. Oh wait, how did I miss this? Where did it go? Okay, I feel like there was one from Peggy that I can't find. Peggy, you want to pop on really quickly and just ask your question out loud, because I see people responding to it, but I don't see where it was.
Sure, thanks, Betty. Bye.
Pop on
I
really
was
quickly
asking
and
if
just ask your question out loud, because I see people responding to it, but I don't see where it was. Pop
Can you
on
hear
really quickly, just ask your question out loud. Are you there, Peggy?
I am here.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you now.
I was asking if there, like Sunset Magazine has a place for road travelers to go to find a wonderful place to go visit. Is there a place like an on-site website where people who want to become astrotourists can go and look for places to go? I know that there've been several articles written recently in magazines about places to go to see the stars, and I just wondered if there is one, and if there isn't, maybe we could create one.
So I guess I can hop in here. A big part of our new website for Dark Sky is putting more information about all of our certified dark sky places. So I think that would be one of the first places I would go when looking for places, is like find where the dark sky parks or the dark sky communities, where those dark sky places are that are certified. And then our website is kind of that repository for that. I'm not sure if there are other ones. Alejandro, have you heard of any?
Yeah, I have. Well, basically, if you run to the dark sky web, you can find certified places. And how do you say it? To the first part, knowing a sky place involves to the astrotourism, and it's a great opportunity for so many places, different ways, because suppose that you are a person who achieved the certification of that place. It's not only to the public to visit, because and why do you cannot do an activity there? So why you cannot get involved? For example, in Argentina, we have something that called the natural route, la ruta natural, that in place all the kind of activities. You can have astrotourism. I will send you here onto the chat, and that's what I said. Always work with tourism agencies. In this case, in Argentina, you can find all the places that are secure to do tourism activities. Not one acceleration. It's not the only ones, but they are all that compliant with the insurances. They have all the proper and safety for the tourism. You can do Astrotourism in some town right next to Posadas from where I am, but it doesn't imply that they are in a full, formally and full legal situation to promote astrotourism. That the Ministry of Tourism, what do is search for every tourism, astrotourism worker and reach with everyone and see what conditions are. If they are in good conditions, they are promoted here on this side for the activities.
Great. Tim, can we crowdsource some great ideas for tourism at summer solstice times?
Yeah.
I guess so, Alejandro, I guess the question I want to ask is like, we have such a broad, different, like a huge community that come from urban areas, from rural areas, a lot of light pollution, not a lot of light pollution, scientific background, art background. Like, what would be one piece of advice you would give that you think could apply to everyone for like how to get started in promoting astrotourism wherever people may be?
Like Feynman says, you have to teach to get better and improve yourself. You have how well, as you put it, you have so many different persons in such different areas and environments that I think that the first part is to propose one idea and knowing what your limitations are. So start from there. So if you are a young and an adventure, okay, try to give one step from that direction. If you are more academic and have to spend more time in some observatories or in a lab, start from there. O sea, know you as what is your potential, what you are feeling attractive to do, and start from there and challenge yourself to improve. And the most important, get out of your comfort zone. When you start to imagine what can you how do you can use your knowledge in some other areas that you have the possibility to do it, start from there. Because I never imagined that what happened in Iguazu, for example. I never imagined that a national park basically give me a blank check to do, okay, in charge from astrotourism. And you have been witness of what happened. That's important. And I don't say it because I doesn't finish the work, but at some point I'm going to be proud to announce it. But challenge yourself to do a different perspective or so many ways that you can spread the word, because this is what's happened to me. I'm an amateur astronomer, and with that, I know DarkSky movement, and with that, I convert myself into a conservationist. So I work with the conservation and to the nature, and with that, I give another step and work with the Guaraníes. I never thought that I will be ending one technical advisor from them. So challenge yourself to do something that actually scare you a little bit, and do it. So you have the responsibility to get wrong. I never thought that I would be ending astronomy for blind people, but actually I try myself and I do it. And even I have a 3D printed moon. You can see the relief here. You can see so many things. Think what you are doing best and start from there and challenge yourself to go another step at a time.
That's great advice. Yeah, kind of assess your strengths and then see where your strengths lie and how you can use those for DarkSky and Astrotourism. Good. Well, I forgot one announcement. So I'm going to share one announcement, but before I do that, I just want to thank Alejandro again. He will be back with us this evening. So if you want to come hang out with us again, we will be doing this at 5 o'clock my time, which is Pacific Daylight. And I think it's 12 p.m. GMT or AM. Oh, I don't know which one it is. But please join me in giving Alejandro a huge thank you. Not just for this presentation, but for everything that he does for the DarkSky movement. He's a great person to be around, a great friend. And I think he's on Slack as well, so you can stay connected with Alejandro on Slack. And he's always willing to help out and support people in this field. So a huge thank you to Alejandro, and we will be sending this recording out tomorrow along with the links and everything that Alejandro will send to me after this. But I do just want to share, okay, wait, let's see, do I have it up? Where is it? Please check out our cool new merch. We got cool shirts for our photo contest. It says capture the dark, and it's a cool lady. I asked them to make it a lady taking photos of the beautiful night sky. So I added the tie-dye because I feel like you can never have enough tie-dye in your life. There's cool tie-dye shirts. And then we also have these cute little mugs and hats. These hats look super cool. We got these tote bags, and then we got a bunch of different options for shirts. So if you're looking for, look at this one's cool, tie-dye crew neck. But yeah, if you're looking for just gifts for the night sky photographer in your life, or you would like to support the work that we're doing, please check out our cool new merch, and I'll pop the link to our bonfire store. We also have tons of other designs that you can choose from, but this is just our newest, coolest one. So yeah, with that, oh, thank you, Michael, you already were on that. Alejandro, do you have 2 minutes? Would you like to share any final thoughts with the team here?
Yeah. If I read in some of the presentations here, so I send my email into the chat, and I think this is going to be into the presentation recording. But if anyone has some idea of want to chat, I more than pleasure to help to anyone who actually wants to get involved in some activities. And the sky is not the limit when we have footprints into the moon. So if you want to do it, the stars are the limits. And with the laser pointer, it's more close enough. And perhaps I'm going to need another presentations because at some point, because I've been behind huge projects here, and hopefully at the end of the year I'm going to try to reach every one of you, so get some invitations from the southern hemisphere. And you had
Dale, pues muchas gracias. Nos vemos luego. Thank you everyone for being here, and we will see you all soon. Thank you all so much for everything that you do for Dark Skies. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you later.